You are the creator of your own reality, and you are a pure extension of source energy. And you have come to use the power of your focus, to use the power of your thoughts to create. Thought and focus is like molding the clay. You're doing it with your mind rather than with your hands. But you are the creator of your reality, and you are so much more than you see here in these physical bodies. This physical body, important. You came into this physical body so that you could use this personality and this mind to be your focal point for creating. And you have the energy that creates worlds, the intelligence that creates worlds, the knowledge that creates worlds, flowing to you and through you for your creative endeavor and pleasure and joy and enlightenment and amusement and upliftment and interest and fun. In other words, you make it all so serious. When what you've come for the pleasure, for the joy, for the exhilaration in using your thoughts, your mind, your opinions, your perspective in order to create around you the world that you choose, not the world that someone has chosen for you, not even the world that you at a former time have chosen, but what you are choosing right here, right now. The energy that creates worlds is flowing to you and through you if you will allow it. But you've got to allow your own blessings. You've got to allow them. And you know what? So much of the time, you don't. You block them because you've given yourself some criteria that you've picked up along your physical trail. Somebody did a real number on you somewhere where they convinced you that you were not blessed, that you were not worthy, and that you had to struggle and strive and try for it. And that just is not true. In fact, the opposite of that is true. The more you struggle and strive and try for it, the more you look at the problem and try to fix it, the more you hold the problem in your vibrational frequency, and the more you disallow the true desire that the problem has given birth to within you. We want you to understand a handful of things. And when you do, your life is going to be what you want it to be. We want you to know that you create your own reality. We want you to know that you are a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. We want you to know that you create through the power of your thought. We want you to know that your thoughts matter. Your thoughts matter, and they matter a lot. They matter more than everything else put together. Your thoughts matter. You cannot think thoughts that make you hurt in your heart or feel fear in your gut. You cannot think those kinds of thoughts and thrive in the way that you are meant to, in the way that you want to, in the way that you're supposed to, in the way that you deserve to, in the way that it is natural for you to. You cannot look at the what is if what is lacking something you want and get to what you want. You can't do it. It won't work. It never will. Law of attraction does not allow it because you create your own reality. So it turns out that it's all about thought. It's all about thinking. It's all about focusing. But how do you know? How do you know if your thoughts are valid? How do you know if your thoughts are helpful? How do you know if your thoughts are working for you in the way you want them to? Well, there are two ways you can find out. One is look around and see what's happening to you. And if it isn't what you want, then your thoughts are not working for you because you are not working your thoughts in the way that you can. The other way is you can pay attention to the way you feel, because the way you feel is your indication, and that's the way we want you to focus. That's what we want you to be aware of the most, because your thoughts are always playing off of. Your thoughts are always having a relationship with the thought of the source within you about everything that is happening now. You cannot have an emotion yesterday. You can remember the emotion that you had yesterday when yesterday was now. And you cannot have an emotion tomorrow. You can anticipate emotion that you will have tomorrow, but you're doing it now. So all of your indication is now about what you're doing with your thought, the important thing that you are doing with your thought. And the subject of your thought is not important. The way the thought feels is. Because the subject of your thought, oh, you are masters, you are genius, you can think about anything in the world that you want to think about. And source energy will flow toward it and carve out a relationship with that subject and you for your delight, for your pleasure, for your edification, for your expansion, for your enlightenment. In other words, this is a cooperative universe and you matter a lot here. But we want you to see the big picture. We want you to understand how you fit into all of it. We want you to claim your important place in this, because you're not just here accidentally. You're here purposefully, deliberately here. And you're not here insignificantly. You're here importantly and significantly. You matter to all that is. And we want you to matter to you. We want how you feel to become of premium importance to you. We want you to stop being valiant and not try so hard to be whatever somebody else thinks you should be. And we know a lot of them have let you know what you need to do in order to please them. But in that process of playing to what others want, you've forgotten in many cases the most important thing, and that is your relationship, your visceral, emotional, gut level feeling relationship between the thought you're thinking right now and the thought that your inner being is thinking right now about the same thing in the same moment right now. So if you, for whatever reason, have decided that you are inappropriate in some way, you don't feel so good. You either feel fearful or guilty, or in some cases, blameful and resentful. Because the thought that you're thinking about yourself right here and now is so not in harmony with the thought that Source is thinking about you right here, right now. Because Source knows your value and knows who you really are and knows what your desires are and knows your worthiness. Source always knows your value. And when you deviate from that, whether you're the object of your attention or somebody else is, when you devalue yourself or someone else, you're going to get crossways of the Source within you who will never, ever, 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 ever do that, you see. So we know, coming on pretty strong here this morning, because we want you to hear us, and volume doesn't help, does it? Stubborn consistency sometimes does, though. We want you to accept that you create your own reality and that you do it through your focus and that you can tell by the way you feel how you're doing. And if you care about the way you feel and you start contouring your thoughts so that they feel better and better and better and better and better, then your thriving is going to be more evident to you in so many ways. We want to talk to you about how it is that you create your own reality. We know as you move around in your physical world, in your physical body, interacting with so many other physical beings, that there is so much that is manifested that you are observing that you sort of want to set that aside and call that manifested world reality. And it's all right with us if you want to call it reality, as long as you call it temporary, ever-changing reality, as long as you call it the result of the thoughts that you're thinking, as long as you understand that it is changing all day, every day. And sometimes you say, oh, not so much, Abraham. It's not changing very much for me. My reality has pretty much been the same amount of money in the bank for as long as I can remember. My reality has been the same amount of credit card debt for a long time that I can remember. Yeah, it's right up there against my limit, right there. Or my physical condition has been pretty much the same for a long time. And we want you to acknowledge, we want you to leave this gathering acknowledging that the reason that your reality doesn't seem like it's changing, it is. But it's just changing to more of the same. It's just changing to what you're observing. It's just changing to more of the same. Different places, different faces, but the same sort of experience. Mostly, don't you acknowledge that? And that's because you've got patterns of thoughts that you keep regurgitating. We love you very much. You keep regurgitating thoughts. That's what beliefs are. A belief is just a thought that you continue to think. And as you continue to think that thought, you're going to have the same relationship with that thought. In other words, that thought, that habit of thought, that vibration, that vibrational offering is going to keep bringing back to you the same response because it's the same thought that you keep thinking. And the same thought that you keep thinking is going to bring you back the same response. The other day, Esther was leaving her driveway of her new house in Utah. And when she drives out, she has a Cadillac Escalade, a beautiful car. And it has a rather high profile, and it's not close to the ground, but every time she goes out this gate, she scrapes her nose just a little bit, the nose of the car, just a little bit. And so her sister is with her, and Jeannie says to her, now Jeannie's only been out that gate twice or 3 times. Smart aleck. And Jeannie said, I found that if I really hug the right, my nose doesn't bump, and her car is much lower to the ground than Esther's. So Esther did what Jeannie suggested and went out the right, and there was no bump. And Esther said, I've only been out this gate 5,000 times. And Jeannie said, there's something about that. The definition of I can't quite think what the word is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Yeah. Well, so why does Esther, she keeps doing the same thing, just thinking she'll get a different result this time. Well, I'll just swing a little more left this time, or I'll go left and then right. She's been doing almost exactly the same thing going out that gate. Now, Esther is she's a wise girl in most things. But somehow she just came to expect the nose of her car to rub when she goes out that gate. She never liked it. She cringes every time. She thinks somebody should do something about that. But for some unexplainable reason, it did not occur to Esther to try something different. For some reason, she was just accepting the reality of this. Until her sister, who she doesn't like very much at all now, just pointed something out. And that is the advantage that you have with one another, is that you have the advantage of seeing others around you getting differing results, which could cause you to expect different results for yourself if you will focus upon the different results that they are getting in a positive way rather than in a negative way. So we want you to know that you are the creator of your own reality, and we want you to remember that you live in a vibrational world and that you are a vibrational being. And we want you to remember that you get to choose your thoughts, and that if you will choose thoughts that feel good, then what that means is you'll be harmonizing with a broader perspective. And do you know why that is? Do you know that you are extensions of source energy? Do you know that the larger part of you didn't come into this physical body when you do? Do you understand that the whole of you, the soul of you, the eternal part of you is present with you all the time? Do you understand what source energy is? Do you know what infinite intelligence is? Do you know what this consciousness of non-physical is? Do you know what it is that man calls God? Do you get it, that you are an extension of something that is so intelligent and so loving and so ever present in your life experience that you, whether you know it or not, whether you admit it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, you have a relationship with that. And that relationship that you have with that is known to you by your emotions. So when you're down on yourself, that awful feeling is because you're crossways of what source knows about you. If you're down on someone else, any negative emotion is your indication that your thought right here about that is different than source's thought right here, right now about that.